you want to find the next crypto gem that could do a 100x, I think one of the best things to do is to buy coins before they launch. And so in this video, I'll show you a couple of coins that are launching soon that I'm extremely excited about. And if you guys want a full tutorial on how to get these, let me know down below and make sure you press that like button. First off is 𝗕𝗵𝗲𝗍. It's a game, it's on Solana, and it's launching very soon. Matter of fact, it's launching in only a few days on February 1st. And I think as of this point, it's one of the most hyped up games on Solana that is not in the AAA raising $400 million whatever tier. And I like it. World's first card strategy racing game. I know there's even an app on it on my Solana phones. That's pretty cool. In the number 2 spot, we've got AetherGames. These games and these projects are not in any particular order, just some of the coins I'm very interested in, invested in, or that I know are very hyped up and are launching soon. Some of these are going to be very easy to buy in, some of them nearly impossible. I want to tell you about them anyway, so at least you might now recognize exactly what I'm looking into. But like I said, AetherGames is one of the ones with a bigger raise, crazy names across the board, and is also apparently launching somewhere in February of this year. Here's a nice thing you can do though. You can join a free competition, hopefully get yourself some rewards. A couple, I think like 1,000 people will win something, so it might be worth checking out. I have no links, nothing is sponsored, but like I said, these guys have got some very, very big name. You can see right here the Epic Store or Epic Games connection, play on Epic Games, Aether trading card game, launching soon. Again, these guys are not playing around. And now here's a coin that's not exactly a game, but a gamified marketplace. And it's actually a really interesting concept based around the idea of potentially not being able to sell something as a massive ticket. Let's just say, for example, we have a $1,000 item. Instead of selling it to one person for $1,000, theoretically speaking, you'd have a lottery where 1,000 people buy a $1 ticket, and somebody gets to buy this item for $1, and you got yourself the $1,000 without needing to sell it to one person for $1,000. And in theory, this can be done in any way, shape, or form, broader or smaller. It's about the idea of making this liquidity more available, in my opinion. But we don't only go off of the concept, we also go off of the hype, the partnerships, and the back end. These guys have got it pretty much figured out. I'm not sure exactly when these guys are going to launch. Maybe it's known, maybe it's not. But what I do know is that you can farm points right now. And as I've been describing in more of my airdrop tutorials, sometimes farming these points can be very cheap, yet extremely profitable, like we've seen with some projects along the lines of Manta or AltLayer, where you could have gotten thousands of dollars. And I'm not even talking about only those two, there's a lot of them. Farming points is the meta right now for easy access to just a new token. And it's funny that scrolling through it, I actually see here 𝗵𝗲 Labs, and they got retweeted. That's actually the next in the line here. A BRC20 trading terminal, functional with your favorite crypto wallets. Out of all the projects, this one has received a little bit of a little ruckus with regards to Ape Terminal. And if you know, you know. If you don't, just skip it, man. It's not even worth trouble explaining it to you. There's a lot of drama over on Twitter, but it's one of the most hyped up BRC related projects right now. It's getting so much attention. It's so hard to get in. I think there are multiple different launches going on though with regards to how to buy in. I think 𝗓𝗐, one of the projects I talked about more often, has a sort of launchpad sale, and Ape Terminal has a sale. Again, think of what you want with regards to Ape Terminal if you've been into all the drama. I don't care though. I think the project and the launchpad will be doing extremely well. A lot of people have goldfish brains anyway. And let's not talk about emotions here. Let's talk about, will something do well? Will something make you money? I think a lot of companies are based on some very unethical standards, and we use them every single day. Nobody seems to care. Nobody really knows. And that's kind of what's going on here. There's a lot of drama in the back end. You may think of these guys what you will. I just personally think the price of the token, if Ape Terminal comes with the token, which they eventually will do amazing. And I think most things that will launch on there will also be doing amazing. And I think the first in line is 𝗵𝗲 Labs. Not financial advice, just my thoughts. And again, you can very much disagree with me here. You can disagree on the ethics. You can disagree on the specific coin. Just giving you my opinion. Do with it as you please. One to watch out for that's not as hyped up yet, but I think is extremely useful. Sometimes I like to show those as well, is the Plena Crypto Super app. Because I noticed as well from making these videos, a lot of people don't understand the very basics of how to transact crypto, how to get started with all this DeFi stuff. And so any project that aims to make it simpler for beginners, I think can have massive success. It just depends on how they do their marketing and how they obviously get the word out there. But in terms of the concept, Plena has got it set. It's so smart. And I think if they take their steps right, this could be one of the greatest projects over time. Because as far as I've understood now, they're trying to get everything in one app. So not only like a MetaMask where you can store some coins, and not like the Cosmos hub through Leap or Keplr, where you can just stake, but also provide liquidity and all that type of stuff with just one click. It's massive. And I don't think there's a launch date for this one just quite yet. I think it might not be more than like 2 months out, but let's see. We'll probably come on some top launch bets as well. You could check it out. Now we got to talk about two coins that I think are pretty massive. And even though they might not have the craziest of performances, these are just two huge launches. And that's the funny part. In these videos, I always have two different sorts of coins. Ones are the ones that are really hard to get into, and they might not even launch on the best places, but the ROI would just be insane. And some other ones that have a in my opinion, right? My opinion, guaranteed rate on return or return on investment, there we go, but are very high raise, meaning you might not get the craziest multiplier, but they'll be doing well because they, for example, are listing on some of the biggest exchanges. Good example. One of those is DeFi. There's a lot of bad things said about the project I saw online, but honestly, just like we talked about 𝗓𝗪 just now, it's a super app for DeFi. And with the listings that they've got confirmed, all these different places, it's very, very hard for the project not to get a lot of hype over time. Again, the only negative thing you can say is they raised a lot of money, but that's just a problem if you don't have much money. People often like to say, yeah, but then the public won't be buying in. Guys, a coin this big with such backing coming onto exchanges, it's so hyped up, you don't even understand. I just see the probability of this doing really, really bad as pretty small because it's getting listed everywhere on all the major exchanges. It's crazy, actually. For the most part, I'm just thinking, hey, if there's different airdrops or different things you can farm here, it might be juicy to do so because this is a very big and very backed project. So there could be some good opportunities and all that. And a second project in like I'd say a similar type of field is 𝗲𝗏𝗃 or 𝗲𝗏𝗃. The thing is, this you might never really realize is there, but it's the background. It's more of a fundamental ecosystem. Sorry, I meant infrastructure type of play, type of project. Crypto payment system for retail, e-commerce, and vending machines, easy, safe, and fast. And this is extremely popular. It's been extremely popular for months, if not years, because I've seen it come by again and again and again. I thought they had their coin out a long time ago, but no. Apparently, they are launching in just a few days, or actually. And perhaps some of these rounds, which date is it today? It is the 27th. So perhaps some of these rounds are already over and you can't actually buy it anymore. Too bad, all right? Don't worry too much about all that. I'm just showing you different things I'm excited about and I'm looking into. Let's look back in a few weeks from now, for example, which coins we're looking into next, because there'll be too many, guys. As the bull market right now is starting, just get your vision, your mindset in the right direction. Enough projects will come by. If you miss 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's not a big deal. It's all about getting the one right one. You don't need to catch them all. One of the other ones I'm extremely excited about, I'm not sure how you pronounce this one, unfortunately. I'm not sure if it's Nibiru or Nibiru, but I honestly think that this could be one of the best plays. And even though I don't know the guys at CoinList, which is a place where a lot of public sales take place, I know a lot of people are very excited about it because that gets a lot of people in the public that are not venture capitalists, that don't have the right connections to get into some of these sales early, sometimes with pretty big tickets too. Tickets being the amount of money you're allowed to invest. But this is something I would definitely not skip if I were you. Definitely give it a little look. These guys have got some serious backing. And we've talked before about how this whole real estate, tokenizing all that will be such a huge step. It's not their main focus. You can see from their bio here as well. The Web3 hub ushering in the next era of money. It's a layer 1 powering smart contract hub with DeFi, real-world assets, and more. Again, I will not give you any guarantees, but I think sometimes that if you take the effort, go through all the troubles, get yourself in on some of these coin lists, and I think there's still time for this one, it might be very much worth it. And again, it's from the perspective of risk to reward, right? Whatever money I invest into these sales, I'll make again, but the chance I might never. And most times when I go for it, I think the average return is like a 10x, 12x, 15x or something. Again, no guarantees though. There are some rumors around that we're doing a pretty big airdrop I see now. Could be interesting. Don't sleep on it. And even one of the projects I invested in as well, 𝗲𝗏𝗃, that's not launching anymore. It already launched a bit ago. I'm not sure what the X on that was, like a 12x maybe. Even they said it could be the next 𝗓, and I honestly believe that's the truth. I said it, I think, a while back on Twitter as well. If I had to guess, I think if you think 𝗓 did some crazy numbers, I think it could have a similar sort of performance because they are pretty similar in some ways, but I'm just extremely bullish on it. So take a look. If you're into DeFi, the next coin I'm about to show you is probably very interesting for you. We've got Mintrust. So there's a really funny story about how I got to this project that I might share with you guys another day. But honestly, I can tell you, you don't have it that often that you think, this is something smart, and I like the people building it too. Unlock the highest sustainable yields with the only DeFi lending protocol, returning 100% of the fees to its users. And I had a funny discussion about it. Why is not everybody just giving all the fees back? And perhaps at some point in the future, more protocols will, but right now they're not doing it. So it's the first to actually do it, and it unlocks so much more money for the people that it's such a no-brainer, at least in my opinion. And like I said, There are so many projects out there that have some sort of free reward system. Whenever you find them, all right, make sure to first verify a little bit that they're legit. But if they are, what I always tell people starting out is just try some of this stuff out, because I've even had it that you sometimes win a couple $100. And in my opinion, for me, it's not really worth my time to go and fill out these things to maybe win a couple $100. But to some people, that could be a very, very big change in their investment journey for maybe just half an hour or an hour worth of their time. Again, not everything. Sometimes they cost money. Sometimes you need an NFT. Sometimes you need to have done a lot of transactions, etc. They're always different. But I am saying there are a lot of free opportunities, a lot of free NFT mints, a lot of NFT whitelists, again, that sometimes are free, a lot of raffles that are legitimate and that can actually get you a pretty good return over time. Now, on a completely different side of the block, a project that I think could do really well is called Starter Labs, or Starter. It's basically the guys behind Starter XYZ. You can see here 2021's #1 crypto launchpad by ROI is back. Now those numbers are always a little bit vague. It's hard to confirm. What we do know though is that launchpads historically have been some of the best ROIs. I mean, just take a look at this list. Any of these coins, if you invested into them, I think, right, you're going to make tons of money. And since, at least I believe, Starter is also going to have a token at some point. I'm not seeing too much about it here, but I believe they're doing that. But guys, it could be that they're just back and actually not doing any token. Could be. But if they are, make sure you keep this into your vision. Just plucked my eye. Keep it in your vision, keep taking a look at this. Then we're heading over into something which a lot of you guys might be confused about, but it's called MarginFi. So this is the hottest, in my opinion, borrowing and lending marketplace over on Solana. And I know that many of the venture capitalists are fighting over allocations into MarginFi. This could be months out. It could be a year out for all I know. All I know is they have a reward system. On the top, you can see points, for example, that you can farm. I made a tutorial about it yesterday, so if you're interested, check that out. And I'm not here to go tell you that you can actually buy an early, because even I have no idea if they're going to do that or how it's going to work. All I know is that the moment this project goes public, it's going to be pretty massive. And that's why I'm farming the airdrop, why I made a tutorial about it yesterday, because I just know how much the VCs are fighting to get into this one. Now, it could be that they pull a crazy move. All of a sudden, their valuation is 4 billion and nobody wants it anymore because they've gone mad. Could be, because this one is farther out, I think. But I do believe that it will be one of the biggest ones to come. And this project, I mentioned already a little while back, I think has one of the craziest hypes. And that's honestly, even if they don't have the best of like launch places, some coins they basically list on the biggest exchanges, maybe a Coinbase, maybe a Bybit, maybe a Binance. Some make a great community, have a great concept, and just do well in the circles that I guess I reside in. And these guys have gotten to the top of the top in terms of hype. And I think the moment that they launch is going to be extremely big. And apparently that is going to be the February 10th. And I'll tell you once more that whenever you see like a little sheet like this of the most interesting upcoming gems, I'm telling you right now that right now is the season for it, where I'm going so crazy on these early sales and early investments, and I'll be making many updates over the next couple of weeks and months, because right now is just the time for it. Really, guys, right now is the time for it. If you're sleeping or if you've got no money at all to go crazy on these things, sucks to be you, my friend, but it is the time where nearly everything that's in the spotlight will actually give you a good return. And so it's just about making sure you don't allocate everything to one and it all of a sudden goes bad. But also, very importantly, trying your luck multiple times. Some you'll win, some you'll lose. Some you won't get into, some you will. That's part of the beauty of all this. And some projects, for example, are too far out to tell, but I'm still looking into them. But I'll make videos as we get closer. For example, very interesting project, Velar, TGE, airdrop, and staking. Hey, they actually announced all that stuff just before the Bitcoin halving, which is expected in April, May. So perhaps next month, maybe next 2 months or so. I don't know, but I'm looking into it. I'm keeping a close eye on this one. Again, one of the coins I've talked about multiple times already is Storm Warfare from 𝗕𝗘. I think most things that launch on 𝗕𝗘 in a good season, like right now, will do extremely well. And I personally don't even have to look at exactly what it's all about. If 𝗕𝗘 is launching it, I personally will probably just go for it. But command the past, forge the future in Storm Warfare, next-gen collectible card game. So, oh wow, another cool game. Now, in seriousness, it looks pretty cool, looks pretty juicy, But it honestly depends a little bit on what you like. This, to some people, is not the type of game they'd ever play. Some others find this the most amazing thing. I just know that 𝗕𝗘 has a lot of proper launches, and they've done me really well over the past couple of months. So, something you should definitely keep an eye on. And this project I've already talked about in great detail, I believe. Again, if you see a little button right there, a little bit on this line that says backed by Binance Labs, and you're not going crazy for it, you're mad bad. No, but in all seriousness, look at the back end of this. It's gonna blow. The hard part about ones like this is getting in. I tell you right now, if they've got some sort of airdrop, if they got some sort of way to get yourself in, and they're very hyped up like this with very proper back end, try your best, you know, slap your friends to try to get further on in line. No, I'm just kidding about that, but some of these are really, really awesome. And it's an entertainment platform. And in my opinion, these have a really big make or break it, where they either do like a 40x on launch, again, my own personal opinion, or like absolutely nothing. But because of, I think this one will do really, really well. Something completely different, but I still think has a lot of potential is ta-da! And I'm not hearing about this project in the same hype circles, but sometimes you got to look at it from the fundamentals. How proper is it? These guys are good. I tell you, these guys are good. They even got it in the bio. Ta-da means good data. And if you want some of the key dates for this one, as you can see, February 7, 8 is interesting to watch. And perhaps some of these things are already too late. Guys, I don't fully know on all the dates here. Usually I get into things as soon as possible. But once more, if you are too late for some things, do not worry. But take a screenshot of it anyway and look into it. This is EGLD related though, which we don't actually see that often. On the opposite side, you also have yourself some of the more high risk because they're more unknown by a really different sort of backend, but with crazy potential. A project like this, like BRC Starter, for example, since it's a BRC20 IDO launchpad, this could sometimes really be your 1000x, for example. Okay, maybe a little bit too crazy, right? But let's just say really just 100 or something along those lines X, it could really, really happen. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying that sometimes it's projects akin to what you have like here, where it's not a little Binance logo right there, no backed by Paradigm here or so. Just a good concept and crazy amounts of hype when it comes to it. And again, they got some giveaways going on. Might want to check that out. And last but not least, Favor. Largest Web3 social app powered by Lens. If you know what I know about this project, guys, these guys have seriously got some of the biggest names on board. You can just see it for yourself here for just a little second. Take a little look, take it in, because they are freaking huge. And again, a lot of these social apps, even though I won't say they have the craziest of multipliers most of the time, right? They are a fairly new concept that could really, really have its breakout this season. Meaning, in every one of the previous cycles, if I were to ask you, what's like the best social Web3 app, what would you say? And so from that perspective, there is still a lot of room across the board for a new Web3 social app that really, really pops off. Again, it's in the App Store, it's everywhere. These guys are not small, and I really, really think that the moment this launches is going to have a pretty crazy multiplier. Again, I do not want to speculate too much on the launch X's because it's so random. I just know whenever there's a lot of hype for it, they've got proper backend, they've got proper plans, so to speak, and these guys have got it all set up. But hey, all this in the video is just my opinion, and I may be wrong, even though I don't think I will. But remember this. Let's say you invest in 100 projects. If 99 of them fail, you'll still make a crazy ton of money. Why? I've said it to you before. Today, on my TikTok, yes, I made a video on one of the projects that turned let's say hypothetically speaking, you could have turned $1,000 into $170,000 over the span of 3 months. A coin I bought very, very early back in 2021, the pre-sale, at some price, 10 cents I bought it. It went down to 1 cent, right? Right now it's sitting at $1.70. So for me, theoretically speaking, it's only a 17x. But just imagine for yourself, if you bought that coin that right now is massive, just 3 months ago, you would have turned $100 into $17,000, and with some of these launches too. If you got to allocate just $100 or so, some people say it doesn't make a difference. You don't think it does? It's happened in the past that it turns to a 400x. Some of the gaming projects, some of the most hyped up games, they did a 1300x over time span. Now right now they're down a lot because the market came down, but it could definitely happen over a bull market, for example. So if somebody tells you $100 ain't worth it, or I failed 20 projects, doesn't matter. You only need one good one to compensate for all the 99 losses you took. Then again, most of the time you don't really lose because you have criteria to basically throw away all the garbage, and so you almost always win. The hardest part is getting into these sales. But yeah, that's it for my video. Hopefully you press that like button if you're enjoying them. If you want more tutorials as to how to get in, make sure you keep pressing that like button. I'll make more Launchpad tutorials and tell you guys exactly how to get in and how to do all this. All you got to do is just stay subscribed to the channel, put your notifications on. Very, very important. Sometimes you only have a few hours to react, so put your notifications on as soon as possible. Make sure you press that like button, and make sure that I see you again in another crypto video tomorrow.